Indiana in the morning, WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. You know, we say we dig up our guests from time to time, and I'm not saying we literally did that. But Jonathan Bogert is here to tell us a little bit something along those lines this morning from the Historical and Genealogical Society of Indiana County. Our visit this morning, presented by Marcus and Mack, voted the best law firm and the best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. You can visit them online at marcusandmack.com. So the Indiana County Decathlon is in its ninth year. And the Historical and Genealogical Society is its 9,000th year. Oh, it only seems that way. It's not quite that long. But the two of you getting together this weekend, huh?
Yep, that's right. And despite, for the folks who are viewing online, despite my appearance, I can confirm that I am indeed living and am of this century. So, yes. But yeah, we had been collaborating with the Indiana Decathlon for a while, the Walkworks program. And in the past, we've been able to kind of muster up walking tours on paper, self-guided kind of material. And a couple months ago, got together with representatives from the organization, and we said, wouldn't it be great if we could, bring the past to life for people walking through Indiana Borough? And, because we pass by buildings, we pass by the old YMCA, the old, the courthouse, the old banks, we see years and names written on sides of buildings. Things are covered up with siding. Some buildings look a little better than others. But I imagine people walking through that space wonder, what used to be here?
Yeah.
And that question actually will be answered for some of the buildings this coming Saturday at 1 p.m. So it's a free event. It starts at 1 p.m. And we're going to have historical figures dotted across 6th Street. So it's a historic corridor. There are a lot of buildings on the National Register, and there are a lot of older buildings that folks may remember from their childhood or have heard about from their grandparents or even great-grandparents in the day. Or you see in those old pictures that pop up in the Gazette or on people's walls from time to time.
Yeah, so that's actually going to happen. And this was actually a walking route that was developed last year as a self-guided tour.
Yes, that's correct. It's kind of in doing the research for this, we found a couple of different tours that had been developed over the years, some of them spanning as far back as the 1980s. And we kind of pulled the best from all of those locations and put them together for this tour. And we figured, well, why just talk about the site when you can have someone portray a living, breathing, well, I guess not living, breathing, but a ghostly version of a historic figure. So I know you mentioned the 19th century, 20th century. We do have a wide range of folks. I think the furthest back that we go is the 1840s with the old women's school that was on where Frick Insurance is there on the corner of 6th and Church Street. And you'll see favorites like the old courthouse, the Indiana Messenger building, and some of the other houses. That have been around for a while that I'm sure you've driven by and wondered, how did this get here? What's the story behind it?
So we're going to meet the headmistress of the school?
Yes, she is one of the confirmed figures from the past.
Okay.
So, yes, bonnet, hoop skirt, and historic dress in all.
There
so,
you go.
Yes.
There you go. Who else?
We're going to visit.
Don't have to tell them.
Well, I'll mention two more. I know folks are going to meet the architect behind the Indiana County Courthouse, the old one, or the original, what most people in town call the old courthouse. And then you might run into a guest staying at the Indiana Hotel, where Fox's Pizza is, as well as a editor for the Indiana Messenger in the Messenger building, right across from the old courthouse.
Yeah. All right. So that sounds like a fascinating walk, and of course the buildings that you're walking by, they all tell a story, don't they?
Yes, they all do, and there'll be a little bit of personal narrative from the folks, but then you'll also learn about the buildings, such as architectural style, date of construction, and some interesting little stories behind them.
So that's 1 o'clock on Saturday. Where do you gather?
We're gathering at the Silas Clark House at the intersection of Wayne and 6th there. The event is free. We do ask that folks do RSVP through the Society's website, which is hgsic.org. That way we can keep crowd sizes manageable and keep it enjoyable for everybody who wants to go on the walk. A tour group of 50 people just doesn't cut it sometimes. Sometimes it makes it a little bit hard to hear the person speaking.
So you would break them into smaller groups?
Yes, we would break them into smaller groups.
Okay.
Yeah, but walk-ins are welcome as well. If you can't RSVP, if you do show up, we'll do our best to kind of slip you in to make the experience as enjoyable as possible.
Okay, so that comes up on Saturday, but that's not the only thing coming up.
Not the only thing. I'm going to step back in time a day, actually, to the 4th for our membership open house.
Oh, so
Yes.
that's a Friday event.
Yep, that's a Friday event happening from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Historical Society, this time in the Armory. And again, this is another free event, and we're inviting people to come to the museum and learn about what the benefits of being a member of the society are. So there'll be committee chairpersons on hand, there'll be folks in the library, and anyone interested in coming by can learn what we do at the Historical Society, what's in the collection, and ways that they can help out as a member or possibly as a volunteer. I know there are a couple of committees who are looking for involvement from the community and always need help with the projects that they're working on. A lot of very hardworking people at the society.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that people might have the idea of is that, Historical and Genealogical Society, that sounds very dusty, just a bunch of things in the attic that
Yes.
you got to blow the dust off of them, take a look at them, and then put them away until somebody else comes along and they want to look at it. It's not that at all.
No. Well, I can confirm that we do have many items that have previously been in attics and basements. So that is true. And some of them do come in quite dusty and dirty. But that's correct. I mean, we serve as a location to store all of those historical items so that when a local group has a commemorative anniversary, they're celebrating 50 years or 100 years as an organization or a business, we can pull from those photograph files, maybe pull some old receipts, some advertisements from the newspapers and photographs, possibly even some video footage. I know one of our more recent acquisitions, we got a lot of the material from the old Dean's restaurant that was uptown. So we have a lot of the old menus and a whole big card catalog of the recipes. So if we're in the mood for pancakes or waffles, we might, once that's processed, we might be able to take a look at that.
Publish your old Dean's Restaurant cookbook, huh?
Yeah, but a lot of history behind that building. But we do encourage folks to join as members because it does support the upkeep of the society. I mean, with energy bills and everything, and I know we're in the workings for a new roof right now just because ours is reaching that point where it is becoming historic and old and outdated. So that membership helps to build, and maintain the society. And speaking of the memberships, we are offering a discounted rate for people who do sign up as members over the course of the evening, and we will be raffling off one life membership. So, so if someone's lucky, they might be set for life as a member of society.
There you go. There you go. That's nice. And to understand the work of the Historical and Genealogical Society in preserving history and then being able to move it forward.
Yes.
You just think of the amount of resources available to students, for instance, and research materials, those sorts of things. That's very, very valuable.
And many, we have been a savior when it comes to term papers and local history projects.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. So very, very happy to be a part of that within the community. And I'm sure the students are happy too when they find what they're looking for.
So the event is Friday.
Yes.
And what time?
6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
6
and that's
a.m.
going to be in the Armory. Yes.
You can just wander on in?
Just wander on in, yes.
All right.
Yeah. And then I have one more event, if we have time,
Sure.
that I can cover. The following week on April 9th, we have an author talk with James Gindelsberger, who wrote a book called Escape from Libby Prison. And this one is going to be at 6:30 in the Clark House. And it kind of parallels a display that we're doing right now as well on Harry White. You might be familiar with the C.B. White building uptown. That's a relative of Harry, and Harry was involved in the Civil War, and he got captured and was actually imprisoned in one of the southern prison camps. And so it's a daring escape tale, and there's material, letters home from Harry, that kind of parallel what James will be talking about over the course of the evening. And it's fitting because The mansion was built in 1869, so it's of that era. So it'll really be a sort of a mood-setting space, which is nice.
So Mr. Gindelsberger will be there.
Yes.
Is Harry going to be there too?
Well, we do have two mannequins set up
Okay.
as portraying Harry and his wife Anna, along with a beautiful portrait that was drawn of Harry by a fellow inmate at the prison.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yep. The story is that Harry gave this fella some of his food, and in return, after they both escaped, because it was horrible conditions, they were starving, and but after escaping those conditions, this gentleman was an artist, and he drew up this portrait of Harry White.
Wow. So you have the original.
Yes, we have the original. It
Wow.
is huge. It's almost as tall as me. So
Really?
it was, it's about, had to stretch about this wide to get it in. So fortunately, all the doors in the Clark house are nice big double doors. So getting everything through there was a little bit easier than your standard frame.
Well, that sounds terrific. So that is on what date? April the 9th.
Yes, April 9th. That's a Wednesday at 6:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm. Do you need to sign up ahead of time?
Yeah, we do have RSVPs through the website, hgsic.org. For anyone interested, it's free, and we hope you can join us for that.
Sounds like a fascinating evening.
Yes, I know it'll be a fun one for all of those Civil War buffs out there.
Copies of the book available?
Yes,
too?
Mr. Gindelsberger ordered some copies just specifically for the event, so those will be on sale. I know some folks have been calling and asking about purchasing the book, and I can confirm they will be available. So
Nice.
Very interesting read.
They'll probably even autograph it for you.
I would imagine so, yes.
Well, that sounds great. So 3 big events coming up, and in really short order. I mean, that's this Friday, Saturday, and then next Wednesday.
Yes, so all kind of compacted right there into the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff, Jonathan. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for helping us to promote the events, and it always helps.
Jonathan Bogert, the Indiana County Historical and Genealogical Society. Rendered correctly, that would be the Genealogical and Historical Society of Indiana County, if I could say it. My tongue knows what I want to say, but the rest of me doesn't. It's 9:24 in the morning. It's Indiana in the Morning on WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. Good morning to you. Coming up, check of Boomer Sports in just a moment or so. We do need to get this morning's Money Matters report in, and for that we turn this morning to Monica Nelson.